All right, I guess we are live. Technical difficulties, of course. Why wouldn't there be technical difficulties on the morning show? So, good morning. Looks like can't tell if we got a frozen feed. Maybe a frozen feed. We'll see if we can't fix that. So, welcome to your morning cup of cyber. I'm Jim. As always, early in the morning. Started about a minute late today. Some weirdness going on with YouTube, but that's okay. Illy Coffee today, brought to you by historic Route 66 in Missouri, home of the St. Louis Cardinals, of course. A great way to start the day. So today, being Friday, we'll talk about a certification. There are a ton of certifications out there, and when you're going to get them, they're going to take your time. And I'm trying to fix the background, my fake green screen in the back there. They're going to take your time, they're going to take your money, but they're going to be worth it if you pick the right ones. There's a lot out there, and we're going to cover a lot of them over the next year or so. But we're going to start with one of the most, I guess, most important ones in someone's career, right? A lot of people will maybe talk bad about Security Plus, but remember, it's an entry-level certification for the cyber and the security field. You really need this to get started in cyber. So it's put on by a company called CompTIA. They do other certifications like A+, Network Plus, IT Fundamentals Plus. Security Plus is important enough. It's one of the first certifications that we started with this year. So in the Cyber Insider series, we're doing long format videos on Security Plus. And those will take about 3 months to get through all of the topic areas. The one from this week talks about threats, viruses, Trojans, worms, ransomware, that kind of stuff. It's available online right now. We'll expand on that about prevention techniques and how to take care of keeping those things off your computer next Monday. And it's just it's an important certification to get if you're starting in cyber. There's a regulation out for the Department of Defense called 8570. I think it actually has a new name now, but everybody calls it 8570 still. And it requires that for certain jobs, you have certain certifications, right? And Security Plus is one of the ones that you kind of start with. If you're going to start in the DoD in security, you need to have, you should have a Security Plus. And then other organizations look at this as you passing that first milestone for understanding the security world, right? So again, Security Plus, it's a CompTIA exam. It's not easy, but a lot of people kind of assume it is. I think it gives you a really well-rounded view of security, and it lets you understand the basic tenets of security, right? I'm not one that would put this down at all. I think it's very important to get started with. So a couple years ago, they changed the exam. So it's SYO 501 now. That started in October of 2017. And about every 3 years, they change the exam. So we can expect probably this year, or at the latest next year, there'll be an upgrade or an update of the exam. The cost of it is $339 US. A good chunk of change if you're just starting out in the field, right? And again, like we talked about earlier this week, we were talking about the job market. If you're in security, you can, assume that you're going to make decent money, right? If you're good at it, you're going to be out there making somewhere between $75,000 and $100,000 to start with, right? Other areas, that's regionally based, depending on where you're at in the country. So you put this down. It's a little bit of an investment in yourself, but you're going to have to put the time in. It's not a simple exam that you can just go in and take if you haven't been working in the security field. So I say definitely put the time in to go past this exam, right? So there are 90 questions you have to tackle, right? And you're going to have to get a minimum score of 750 on a scale of 100 to 900, right? And it's not a scale you can figure out. It isn't one for one. They've got a formula they use. You're not penalized for wrong answers, but there's some answers in some areas are going to be worth more than others. So you'll have 90 minutes to complete the exam. And according to Global Knowledge, the Security Plus exam is number 10 in the top 20 certifications you should get. Again, I think it's one of the ones, if you're coming into security, you definitely need to get this exam. You need to get the certification knocked out. You need to understand the tenets of security, and this is gonna really walk you through all of that. There we go. So what's the exam all about, right? So well, it's a little hard to read, but hopefully you got it. Threats, vulnerabilities, and attacks is going to be 21% of your exam. Stuff like malware, penetration testers, hackers and hacktivists, those kind of things. Technologies and tools, talk about VPNs and firewalls and much more than that. Architecture and design, how do you put together secure systems? How do you build systems securely? And what technologies, tools, and concepts should you use to build secure systems? Identity and access management, how do you validate people and systems, including software, on your network, on your computer environment, right? Normally we think about this as usernames and passwords, but it's much, much more than that. And of course, this domain will talk about that. Risk management, today we need to look at things with an eye on risk management. Not every threat, not every vulnerability is created equal. So we have to look at them, and not even every system, right? You have more important systems in your environment than, they're more important and less important systems. So when you look at risk management, you'll say these particular systems need more attention, more money, more time than the other ones. So this is what we do. We use the risk management process to, as funny as it sounds, we manage risk with it, right? And that's what that domain talks about. And then one that really gets a lot of people is cryptography and PKI, or public key encryption. Public key infrastructure, sorry, it's public key encryption process. But public key infrastructure is 12%. So you can see that there are varying levels of importance, even just in the domains, right? Cryptography and PKI, it can kick a lot of people's butt. You have to learn the different types of cryptography and different types of implementations, as well as things like digital signatures and hashing and things like that. So I would say, if you're starting out in security, in cyber, you want to get into this field, Security Plus is the one you want to start with. If you have more time, I would say do A Plus and Network Plus first, and maybe even IT Fundamentals Plus. I think that if you're just getting into IT, you need to do IT Fundamentals, because that's going to talk about what's database structure? What are databases all about? What's a network? How's a computer system put together? What is binary code and hexadecimal code? What all these things, even different types of data types like a character versus a string versus a floating numeric number. IT fundamentals sets the groundwork, and we can talk about that. I think we talk about that next week a little bit. So if you've never been in IT, you've never worked in IT, get your IT fundamentals, ITF plus from CompTIA. If you've been around and you're not ready to jump into cyber just yet, and you've got a little bit of time, I would say do A plus, Network plus, and then Security plus. But if you're ready to go, you've been around computers a bit, you understand the basic concepts of how they work, how networking works, and that kind of stuff. Go jump in, get your Security plus. It's going to be a big highlight on your resume, right? Plenty of debate about what's more important between education, experience, and certification. I would say there's a pretty good mix, right? If you challenge yourself when you go through your development, you're practicing, you're learning for your Security Plus exam, you're going to have a lot more knowledge, right? And knowledge and experience go hand in hand, right? Experience is going to put you in the environment with that knowledge and challenge you to implement it correctly, but you need the knowledge, right? So get the knowledge. Don't just cram for the exam. Cramming for the exam and taking it is not going to do you very good. It's not going to serve you well. You're going to go maybe pass the certification. Maybe even you'll get the job. But when you go to work, when you go to work, it's going to show that you just crammed for the exam. So when you're going through these different domains, take the time, fully understand it. That's one of the reasons we're doing the long format. Emily, Mako, Jimmy, and I sit down and we talk about these topics at length. And it maybe seems a long time, and we're trying to get balance that time. This week's session ran extremely long, so we're going to try to tighten those up. We're going to try to keep them about a half hour, 45 minutes. But we really need to talk about them, not just glaze over, what a virus is. We need to really get into and understand, what's a virus and how is, a virus different than, say, a worm or a Trojan horse? And how is a Trojan horse different than ransomware? Or is there a difference? What is the difference? So it's important to dig into those and understand more than just a cram session. A cram session will get you certification. It may even get you in the door for an interview. And if you're really, really lucky, cramming for these things may get you a job. But when you go to work, it's going to show that you just crammed for the exam and you don't exactly know what you're doing. You're fumbling your way around. So get in there, learn it. Try to get a mentor, somebody that's going to help you totally understand these concepts. That's one of the reasons we did the format with the Cyber Insider with the different certifications. So this year we'll go through a few different certifications, but Security Plus is probably going to take us 3 or 4 months just to get through the topics, right? So check it out online. It comes out every Monday. The IT Fundamentals comes out every Thursday. But you may, you may just jump in and see which one you like. See where you're at in the field, right? Anyhow, that's the Friday talk. Happy Friday. Looking forward to the weekend, right? Hope we all are. Like always, like the channel, hit the bell so you know when the new stuff's coming out. Add your comments below. Let me know, what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, what you're looking for. We'll keep trying to make it better. We're out here to, we're out here just to get more people that are qualified into the field to help other people advance. I've been doing this for a long time, so it's time for the new people to come in. But we need qualified, experienced, knowledgeable people. So I'd say get your knowledge built up, get some experience if you can. Sometimes that's a little harder, so you might have to do some volunteer time. If you got a degree, that's great. Some places do require it. It's definitely going to help you. An associate's or bachelor's degree, or if you're have a master's, of course. Um, Certifications are going to go a long, long way, and that knowledge and experience is a kicker. So, um, anyways, uh, like, subscribe, comment below. I'd love to hear what you got to say. Hit the bell to be notified. Um, this is Jim, Cup of Cyber. Thank you, Missouri. Hope you guys are doing good out there. A lot of folks I know out in St. Louis and the Kansas City area. So look forward to seeing you guys next week. We'll kick this off again, and be safe out there.